I am Caitlin Dotson, and I'll be reading and analyzing Instructions on Not Giving Up by Limón. To preface, before we begin reading the actual paper, I will be discussing these topics: the title meaning, form, theme, rhythm, imagery, mood, and tone, as well as the message of the poem and my overall impression that I got while reading. Now on to the actual poem. More than the fuchsia funnels breaking out of the crabapple tree, more than the neighbors' almost obscene display of cherry limbs shoving their cotton candy-colored blossoms to the slate sky of spring rains, it's the greening of the trees that really gets to me, when all the shocks of white and taffy, the world's baubles and trinkets, leave the pavement strewn with the confetti of aftermath. The leaves come, patient, plodding, a green skin growing over whatever winter did to us, a return to the strange idea of continuous living despite the mess of us, the hurt, the empty. Fine then, I'll take it, the tree seems to say, a new slick leaf unfurling like a fist to an open palm. I'll take it all. Now the title meaning. What does the title mean to me? The title seems to be conveying to me that the author wants to provide a means of proving to someone that there's always something or someone in the world that is worth living for. Now, does the poem reflect this meaning? The poem's title speaks to me about finding meaning within the simple things in life, and so does the actual poem. She finds meaning in nature, the trees, the vibrancy of life's many colors, and the cycle of relief and struggle that nature and herself seem to be experiencing. Now, I cannot say what the poem means to Miss Limón, but it does seem to be she is telling herself and others that life may be hard right now, but that spring will always come and that brighter days are ahead, and that the life that you will live, that you are living right now, always has a chance to get better. On to form. Is the form or structure intriguing? The form plays as a mixture of free verse and pastoral poetry. It has no true set rhythm or rhyme, but it speaks about how nature is a solace to internal and external struggles. Free verse poetry doesn't use steady meter patterns, rhyme, or musical patterning. It feels like natural speech. It's not like a limerick or a sonnet. It's free. Now, a pastoral poem is a genre of poetry that tends to go towards nature, living a simple life, and just survival in nature in general. It'll be about plowing the fields, or even just looking up at the trees and realizing that life isn't as hard as it seems to be right now. The theme of Instructions on Not Giving Up is that light comes again once the dark has set in. It's perseverance, survival, and an understanding of the world. It's that the darkness will always stay around, but the light will come again. Rhythm. Now, there is no set rhythm, or really one present in the writing, but in the reading, one must read it like a narrator would a documentary script. The rhythm of this piece is best described as natural speech. You read it how you speak. Hence why it goes by a free verse. Feels like a free verse. It's not like a sonnet or a limerick like I stated previously. Now, imagery. With her descriptions of the fuchsia funnels breaking out of the crabapple tree and the neighbor's almost obscene display of cherry limbs shoving their cotton candy-colored blossoms to the slate sky of spring rains, one can almost envision these plants from the descriptions alone. But going past that and looking at her usage of the words breaking out of and shoving their way brings forth the image of a pop of color with the cherry limbs, a pop of color against an otherwise mute canvas, that something that can be dreary, something that is hard to break through, that there will always be something that does. Like a dam holding back a river. If the dam isn't maintained, the water will break through. because nature will always find a way, and as like nature, you should too. Mood and tone. The mood and tone of the poem go hand in hand. They carry that feeling of survival, an attitude that just dares for something to go wrong because they know that in the end they'll be fine. Going back to my previous example, a dam. A dam, if not maintained, will break down. And like the water holding back from it, it'll rush forward, carrying everything with it that it can. Because the water knows that it can go past that. And eventually it'll move the way that it wants. Another example would be like breaking up concrete and seeing that stuff and the plants that come through. Now the overall the message that I get is one of survival. One that is telling the reader that everything will be alright and that spring will always come after winter. That the light will come after the darkness, that a rainbow will always be behind the rain. And that even though the morning is very dreary, the afternoon may be very bright and happy and just warm. My overall impression of the poem is that it's someone, metaphorically speaking, looking for the inspiration to survive the winter, to survive their struggle, to survive their depression, and realizing that their inspiration is sometimes within nature itself. That even though nature has these ups and these downs, it has to survive the winter, there is always going to be a spring. And that the reader and the writer should aspire to be like the leaves upon a tree and be able to take all that they have been given. I have been Caitlin Dotson, and this was my reading of Instructions on Not Giving Up by Limón.